Hey there, so today we have another Darwin's Rants. Yeah, I guess I don't want to do a review for you guys. Anyway, this is some of the beer that I got from the brewery. Well, I guess, yeah, the brewery before we close, and hopefully we'll be back open soon. But Kronbacher Helm. Nice German lager. I mean, yeah, Helles. What do you want from me? So yeah, what are we gonna talk about? I think someone so quickly. I literally two days ago, yeah, announced I got a job, and then the rating wanted an update. And I was like, I literally had one training shift. So thankfully, it's been 2 days, so I've had 2 training shifts. Yeah, I probably have to explain a lot of this stuff because like most of you guys aren't industry people. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, like any there's just training amounts. Well, yeah, what are we talking about? I guess we're gonna talk about that, and I thought, you know what? I'll talk about a little bit of that venison I have. So anyway, yeah, I had one training. Yeah, industry, you train, and so depending on where you work, man, it could be vastly different. Here, I only got 2 training shifts. I've also been doing it for a while, and then my tap room or brew pub, we'd have to make you do at least 3 or 4, maybe, I think, something like that, 3 or 4, I think. And then some places do. They'll make you do 6. Like some corporate restaurants will do make you go for training for weeks, before you actually get to full on become a server, bartender, blah, 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 and actually make tips and all that cool stuff, right? So, how's it been? I mean, first off, I will say, it is a lot easier to get trained to work at a kind of brewery tap room thing versus a brew pub or a restaurant, a server. Basically, working at a brewery tap room as a bartender is a vastly different job from a serving job. It's just being a server, you're just gonna have to hit tables and bus and learn the menu, modifications, food, this, learn the drink, beer. I've got actually they have a decent amount of taps. Let's say 16. I got 16 taps. I know beer. This is probably the 10th beer bar / brewery I've worked at. How hard can it get? Literally, the hardest thing about it is the computer that you have to, the sales system that you have to learn, right? Deal with, these are things that you definitely need, customer service, greets and beer knowledge and all this stuff. Cleaning, you have to physically know how to clean and what to clean, and the part of the job is just cleaning stuff, right? Opening, closing duties, which is different everywhere, but in the end, you're still just setting up a bar and breaking down a bar, right? So honestly, I probably could have gotten locked in one day, but did in 2. I'm excited to just go be back at work. 2 training shifts. Next week, I actually get 4 actual shifts. So that's good, because 4 is a good number. It's just now I'm thinking wait, so am I gonna be there full time now, or do I find another job? So I don't know. I'll have to think about this weekend, whether I entertain any of the places I hear back from when I applied for a bunch of jobs on Monday, right? And yeah. I'm just excited to go back to work. Apparently, it's very hit or miss from what I understand. Thankfully, right now is holiday season, so they have some events booked. So actually, I should probably look at the calendar and see which events I'm working, because just the fact of having today we had 40 people come in. That made the brewery seem a lot busier than it was, because it really wasn't that busy. And then yesterday was dead slow. Yesterday was rough. It was. I was like, oh no, it reminded me of some of the worst shifts I ever worked in my entire life. Just this is so slow. So fingers crossed. Yeah, again, I'm just so spoiled by working at a brew pub kind of situation where location. Where I worked formerly at Sanford Brewing, it was part of a quote unquote it's not really a downtown, but it was it's part of a suburb where people actually go out to have dinner and have drinks and blah, blah, blah. Where I'm at now, it's just industrial. And it's literally a couple miles away from Ellipsis, which I used to work at. It was actually one of my first jobs I got when I moved. One of my first jobs when I got here when I moved down. And eventually, I was working actually at Sanford Brewing and Ellipsis. And eventually I stopped working at Ellipsis because A, more and more shifts were opening up at Sanford Brewing. And B, it was just busier, right? And part of it's just a location. If you're, it's by the way by MCO, the International Airport, and it's just there's nothing there. It's just industrial, large buildings. There's no it's not residential at all. Nobody's walking to your brewery. There's no like congregation, like, there's no restaurants really nearby. Like restaurants. Yeah, there's a McDonald's, there's the Domino's across the street, but like what good is that, right? Like, there's no. It doesn't feel like you're actually in somewhere where people will go out, versus like places people go out where there's another restaurant next door, there's a supermarket right here, or there's there's neighborhoods surrounding your restaurant / bar, right? So it is what it is. I mean, I'm just hoping it's busy, and it is what it is. I'm obviously the big hope is I can't wait for them to open up my brew pub up again, because the other different thing is that I just don't know how places do it with the straight like taproom craft beer model. Like, unless you're a hype brewery or have a great location, which are obviously like, I guess important things if you'd like to run a business, but it's just like not having food. Like, what do you like? You just it's not. I don't know how it worked for some places back then, but like it's just not the place to be selling. How much can someone spend, especially when they're driving, like buying beer, right? Like, it's just, I understand that the model has really moved on to sort of a like brew pub / like we have to have food kind of idea for a lot of brewery concepts. It's just like, no, like, especially have kids and family and maybe somebody doesn't want to drink, but like people are healthier now. People want to hang out and maybe have more beer, but they can't because there's no food there, right? And now you're like asking them to like, buy food truck food or order some other, food from somewhere else. Like, that's not an experience that's very conducive for a lot of people. They just rather go to the next place that might not even have like craft specialty stuff, because it just has drinks and food, and it's just more convenient and more, and it also has a table service versus like having to walk up to a bar and like look at like dingy like industrial ducts that's not very nice looking, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys have been to those breweries where it's like, yeah, this is literally just, it looks like a factory. It doesn't look like a place where people want to actually spend time at. Especially, maybe if you're like a 35-year-old guy by yourself or with your other dudes and want to talk about hazy IPA, blah, blah, but like for 99% of the population, nobody gives a shit about your fucking Mosaic hazy with Citra, Mosaic, Sabro, whatever, right? Like, who gives a fuck? They want a comfortable space where there's cool music or something for, something for the kids, like, like blah, blah, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, well, anyway, hope my brew pub opens soon. Oh, quick one. So like one of the earlier ones I did for you guys was like, it's like I'm trying to like rip through my kitchen just to get through all this food. So I finally pulled out that like 6.5 pounds of like lean venison that someone gave me, and it was in a Ziploc and in a plastic bag, and I just like went full blind on it. It's like, yeah, just defrost in the fridge, threw it in the fridge. My dumbass is so stupid. Like, why didn't you think about this stuff? I came home, like a couple days ago. It's just a pool of just like blood, like a fucking murder scene on the bottom of my fridge. I'm like, fuck. Thankfully, my fridge has those like thingies, like those little ridges. I was like, oh, that's why they made them. So it like collected there, cleaned all that shit out, and it actually I tasted it like a couple days, and it's good. It's fucking just like, it's honestly like perfect. Like I cut it up, threw it in the air fryer, seasoned it, threw a little oil on it. It's like steak tips. It's just lean steak tips. And like you couldn't even tell, it's like got no gamey taste to it at all. It's just lean, like it's just like lean chunk steak. And I was like, oh fuck, this is great. So I bought a bunch of shit. I'm gonna make a ton of stew. I think that's the best thing I could do, because I bought enough fucking vegetables for that shit. And the problem is, I realized like, so that's 6 pounds. Probably do 3 pounds. It's 3 pounds of meat. Which, by the way, I think the math like in that makes like for like, I forget. It's something like 12 or 16 portions of like stew, whatever. I'll freeze a shit ton of it. So, and then I realized like I don't have a pot big enough. Like, I have like a Dutch oven style thing, but that's not big enough to make 3 pounds of meat plus liquid plus vegetables, potatoes, celery, blah, 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 all this shit. I'm like, oh shit. So then I forgot. I realized I bought a bunch of homebrew, and you guys have never seen me do homebrew. I've never homebrewed. No. I've actually homebrewed with people, but I've never done it myself. I bought a bunch of homebrew equipment, and then I got busy in life and shit, and just never used it. So I actually have a 5-gallon pot. So I pull that out, I'm gonna clean that out, and just make stew with it, and then eventually give it away. No, honestly, I might just keep the pot for like stupid ass big stews, and then give away the rest of the equipment. And then actually, I will do a homebrew thingy for you guys, I guess, because somebody I don't know if you guys have seen the advertisement. There's a company out of the UK. It's called Pinter. and it's like it's pretty much gathered all the great technologies that have come from home brewing, and like all the technologies that made home brewing super easy. And so I have to do an unboxing. Like they sent it to me like a couple weeks ago. I've just been busy, and like so I gotta unbox it. It might be something fun to do with the kids, so we'll see. But it makes homebrew, and it's like, you know, it's literally one of the easiest ways you can make beer. Yeah, it's got to be the easiest way you could make actual beer, and it's pretty crazy. So, and it's all fancy and shit. So, like, yeah, I'm gonna show you guys. Anyway, so I got 3 pounds. I'm gonna make a fucking shit ton of stuff. Like, I probably needed a 5 gallon. No, I probably don't need a 5 gallon pot, but it's gonna get pretty high. Like, it's gonna make a lot of fucking stew. So we'll do that, and then for the rest of it, honestly, a good portion of it, I'm probably just gonna like, because it's in like big strips. I'm probably just gonna make steak tips. Like, just literally season it, fry it up, and then just freeze it. Like, you know, anytime I have some rice and some vegetables, boom, here's some lean protein, right? Like, usually I'd like having chicken, but this time I'm just gonna have lean red meat. Cool. It'll make stir fry. It'll do for, you know, all I need is literally like side and vegetable protein. Boom. Like, that's easy, healthy. Boom. I'll do that. And then the other cool thing I can do is actually I'm gonna cut some of it. I'm gonna cut really, really, really thin, and then make some fucking Phillies. That sounds fucking fire. Because I've been like craving a Philly recently, and I just haven't gone out. So slice it real thin. I got some fucking onions. I need to buy some provolone, and I need to find somewhere with some real fucking good bread. Like, these fucking places have this. Man, have you ever had a shitty, like? I mean, I don't know if you guys have been to Philadelphia, but like the make. You know, it's not even Philly cheesesteak. It's anything that is a quote-unquote sandwich. In my opinion, the sandwich is the greatest food of all time. Just anything that it's completely defined by the vessel you put it in. I mean, I understand you can make a dope-ass sandwich with all the best ingredients, but if that bread is not just as good as your ingredients, you're fucked. So, yeah, man, I have some fucking Philly where they give you like, it's like, you know, that shit like Subway bread, which just like, it's soft. Like, what the fuck is soft? Like, if I eat a sandwich and my mouth is not raw and like ripped up, I don't want it. You know, like, I want this shit like fucking scrape the shit. Like, I should only be able to eat a sandwich every like 2 days. Because I had one the other day. I fucking what the fuck did I make? Oh, you know what? I made like a chicken parm to do, but I didn't use like actual like proper bread. I used like some like sourdough that I bought. And I toasted a little bit, but that shit was hard, and that crust was crunchy. And I feel right now, like the roof of my mouth is like bruised, and I couldn't eat anything. You know, I would eat a sandwich now, but I wouldn't eat one yesterday. So it takes you a few days. So you guys comment below if that's your to go. But yeah, I want that shit to be. I'm lying. It doesn't have to be that hard, but you know what I mean. Like, have this another rule, not scraping your mouth. It like I should look like a fucking mess when I eat. Like it should crumble, and I should just have breadcrumbs all the fuck over me. Like, I should look like a complete mess. That's when it's good. When this shit's like soft like a sponge, like literally like the sponge you clean your like the softest sponge you clean your dishes with, no good. Like, it should have crust. It should have like texture. Like, it should shatter when you're right. Like, some of this shit is just it literally. Yeah, that's a great analogy. Get 2 sponges, none of the scrubby shit, just a soft sponge, and put something in between it. Nah. Like, that might be for your kids' peanut butter jelly, but that for me, you know? So, I need to find some, like, fancy, crunchy, seeded roll, onions, and then, like, chop that shit up, and maybe cook a bunch of it, because, like, maybe I'll have, like, 1 or 2 sandwiches, but then, like, the rest I can freeze. Yeah, I'm all about that. Prep. So, yeah, I got this weekend. I'm not working until next week, so I'm meal prepping all day tomorrow or Friday, Saturday, and 6 pounds, 6 and third. I probably ate a little bit, so I probably literally have 6 pounds of meat to get through, to cook and prep up. And thankfully, I have food in my fridge, because I'm like down to very little stuff now. I'm like, shit, I gotta feed myself. So until next time, cheers. Let's hope next week work is busy. Until next time, later.